Yes, let us spar once more. Playing with fire will get you burned. I have an eternity. You are only wasting your own meager time.
The scourge will consume this world of sinners!
Beckons just
So
beyond the
easy.
door.
So fucking easy.
And there it is. There is the no-hitter in SSF. Ooh, we got it. We still have 3 more also that we're going to get. I just want to talk about this run and the preparation that led up to it. And yeah, it was a blast. The SSF one is way more challenging, way more fun, but way more rewarding. Getting that original sin before it gets removed from the core pool, before you just can't get it after this league. So it's really fun to get those type of items in SSF, because in trade you can just go buy them in standard, it doesn't matter, but in SSF you have to go get it, and there's just more stakes on the line. So that's what makes it so much more fun and more alluring and more rewarding to try to go and get. The build here was a Hex Blast Miner. And I went through like 4 different builds, maybe 3 different builds, trying to figure out which build to tackle this challenge with. And once I found this build, I was like, this is easily the way to go. So just kind of heading over to the POB so we could just take a look at the build here. It is a Saboteur, just 100% damage focused. I'm utilizing low life pain attunement. I'm stacking power charges. And man, this skill is definitely going to be nerfed. It is so overpowered. It's so fucking strong. It says I'm doing like a hypothetical 25 million per mine, I'm assuming. I don't know if that's per mine or per 5 mines or per cast rate. I'm not sure exactly how POB calculates mine damage. I think it calculates it in terms of like your throw speed and a single mine times your throw speed, but I could be wrong. I'm not really sure. All I know is it's a hell of a lot of damage, and it felt really good. But the best thing about Hex Blast in this league specifically and in this configuration is it freezes. It freezes, shocks, and ignites. So all that huge amount of damage that you do that's scaled by crit, that's scaled by power charges, is then able to ignite, shock, and freeze, which just makes Sanctum and no-hit runs extremely easy. And it's just like kind of trivializes Sanctums, especially when you do it in the way that where you just don't want to get hit, right? So I have 10 power charges here. I have the power charges from the trees. We have 1, 2 power charges from the tree. We have 1 on the Void Battery. We have 2 on the Malachi's Loop. We have 1 as a relic. So I was able to get a power charge relic. And I think that's it, right? And then another 1 on overcharge. So it's around 10. And then we're using Badge of the Brotherhood to give us frenzy charges. Now, because obviously the Malachi's Loop deletes your charges when you reach max, when you run it with Ralakesh, you just can't, because it just gives you your minimum. So you're always keeping up your frenzy and power charges as long as you're stationary. And I mean, that's why you're getting just so much damage. And then you're also getting the Sandstorm Visage, which allows us to utilize the 8% crit chance as the base crit of Hex Blast. So if we look at the Hex Blast skill, it's only 4% crit chance as the base. So it's really hard to scale crit on this skill. But we bypass that with the Sandstorm, and then we have 8% crit chance, which is very easy to scale. So we have 100% crit chance, and then most of the rest of the build is just scaling crit multi, scaling base damage. I was actually using a level 21 Hex Blast, and a lot of these were 0. So this is like kind of more a little bit theoretical. I probably had around the same amount of damage, considering what gems I leveled up and whatnot. But I did have a 21 hex blast that had no quality on it. Doesn't matter though. We're using Zealotry on our blessing. And we don't use Grace. So the only thing we have, reserved was the Blasphemy Elemental Weakness, which doesn't really matter, only on bosses. And then the Skitterbots. The reason I did that is because, unfortunately, let's just hop over to the game so we can kind of you can take a look at what I mean. Unfortunately, with mines, mana is a massive, massive issue that needs to be overcome. And it's hard to do anything. It just feels really bad when you're just not proccing the correct amount of mines. So if we turn on our Grace here, right, our mana is still a lot, 270 mana. You can see now I'm out of mana because the mines they have to reserve mana. It doesn't use your ES pool like you would expect with Eldritch Battery. It only uses your ES pool to actually cost the skill, but all your mines reserve 20 mana, right? So you need more mana to go past the actual reservation limit so you can continue casting. So now that I have enough mana, I can continue casting and it doesn't lock me out, you see? And this makes it just like way more comfortable to play. And I wouldn't have been able to play this build the way that I wanted to if I didn't have enough mana to run it. And then you can see here that we have the Herald, which doesn't give us any damage. All I'm using the Herald for is just to go low life, going low life so we can get that 30% pain attunement. And then the rest of the build is just kind of just stutter stepping and just throwing mines out and making sure that you don't get hit by fucking anything. And it's a pretty fun playstyle. We're also casting Despair so we can get our Wither on hit. So I had a lot of good gear. I will say I had a lot of good gear. And it makes it, it made it a lot quicker to kind of get to this level of damage. I didn't have to do that much farming. But I will say, compared to the other builds that I was looking to do, like Stormbrand, like Spark, you don't need that. Yeah, I mean, anything that touches me just kills me. But compared to any of the other skills that I was looking at, you just don't need that much gear. Like, it's very easy to get a Sandstorm. I just have a +1 Skin of the Loyal here with the level 21 Hex Blast. I have like just a res ring that I crafted mana cost on. The Ralakeshes are a little bit rare around this time in this league. If you don't have Ralakeshes, they're kind of rare. I only have 2 pairs of these. The gloves don't really do anything because I'm not chilling anything. The belt is just res. The Void Battery is a little bit rare also. So, you might want to try to, if you don't have one, you might want to try to do some Gwenin and just chance a lot of Prophecy Wands. And then the Malachi's Loop is pretty common as well. And then we have the badge, right? The badge is probably the rarest of the gear that I have, other than the relic, the +1 power charge relic. But I actually dropped like 3 of these. So they seem more common than the frenzy ones because I haven't seen any frenzy charge ones. But I have dropped 3 power charge ones, 2 in trade and 1 in SSF. And you want a curse on hit ring also. So the gear isn't outrageous, right? I don't have to craft like multi-link gloves for Spark, or I don't have to craft like a multi-link helm for Stormbrand. And those are the only 2 other skill, and I don't need an Astral Projector for the totem build, the Seismic Totem, that was the build that I wanted to do, but farming that Astral Projector is just, it's almost impossible. It's a very, very rare item. It's hard to get. You're mainly going to be farming cards for it, and I just haven't tried to farm any cards because I just had the gear for this. So it was either try to farm the Astral Projector and go with that build, or go with this build. And luckily I chose this build, and I think you should too if you have the same amount of gear. I'm just doing like way over the amount of damage that I need also. Like, you can kind of skimp on some of this gear. You probably don't even need the Ralakeshes. You probably just get like a Frenzy on hit chest and then run some like regular boots, and you're probably, you're gonna lose out on a couple on a couple power charges, but overall the damage is just so over the limit of what you need. The build is just like, everything is just kind of scuffed. I will say you probably do want to get the Militant Faith so you can get Inner Conviction, but you're not going to be able to run this if you don't have the Ralakeshes. So maybe instead of the Ralakeshes, you could try to figure out something else. But again, I'm just like so over the damage that it's just, I think you could do it on a lot less of a budget or a lot more scuffed gear. So that was it. That was, if you have a week, I think about a week to try to get your original Sin in SSF if you haven't gotten it. I suggest Hex Blast Mines. It's very easy to just kind of plow through, get your levels up there if you don't have a Saboteur ready to go. And the skill is just very, very fun. As long as you have the Samstorm Visage and a Void Battery, you're just going to be blasting. You're going to be blasting. Then you just practice kind of the play style of throwing the mines way out in front of you, killing anything in a distance. Most of the stuff is going to be frozen, so you don't even have to worry about them moving, especially since you're going to be running T8s until the last boss. And then all you need to worry about is just during that last boss, that last Lycia, just having enough damage so she phases in that one section. I think it's around 15 million. And like I said, this skill is doing around like 25 million per mine. It's just way over. So as long as you have around like 10-15 million, you should be good to go. You should be able to get your ring and have a good time. Get it. Go get it. Go try it. This was a blast. Love this league. I just can't stop playing it. I've been playing it ever since. I played a little bit of D4. I was like, this absolutely fucking sucks. Let's go back to the Sanctums. Try to get some more items. Oh, there is something else that I wanted to show you also that I think is pretty funny. So I actually ran a blue map for maps, right? I was just running blue maps, trying to get boss invitations, trying to get maps. And then I somehow dropped a crazy item here. Ended up dropping a headhunter in a blue map from a boss. Pretty insane, pretty wild. So I might be trying to do some sort of original Sin headhunter build. I was thinking maybe Winter Orb. Not exactly sure yet. But I have to do something before the league's over. I'll do one more build, then the league ends, then we jump into the Crucible. I'm very excited. But yeah, go out there, go get your Sins, go get your Headhunters, go get whatever you need to finish out your league. And I'll see you later. Peace.